Hey, this is Joseph Palacios with the Joseph Podcast. We're here for another Facebook Live, just to go into the setting of the podcast setting. Mind you, this will later be on our YouTube platform as well. But we have today one of my friends, Krystal Garza. Krystal Garza is an attorney at law counselor, and she is a young attorney, and she's bringing a punch to the courtroom, I would say, you know what I'm saying? So Krystal, hey, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being a guest. It's very fun when individuals are excited about the podcast, because there's so many people out there that are watching and they want to know, hey, what's this person got to say? So if you got a story, I want to hear it. What's up? How's it going?
It's going good. Things have been crazy to say the least, but we're going. We're going.
Man, so I'm driving out tomorrow, so wish me luck on that. Heading up to Austin for a bit,
Yeah, my
but
husband just left today.
yeah, yeah. Last week the road was actually pretty crazy. There was a lot of snow coming down.
Yeah, no, I heard my brother was apartment shopping or apartment hunting, and yeah, he called my mom. My mom called me. She's like, "Did you know it was snowing in Austin?" And I was like, "No, but that's awesome. That's pretty cool."
Yeah, I mean, everybody always wants to know. Oh, that was in Austin? No, I wasn't. But you
Yeah.
posted a picture. That was my wife's picture. She sent it to me because she's in Austin, and I posted it. It was nice. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Pero la gente volada, right? Like they're always like, "Oye,
Right
what are you
away.
doing up there?" Right away.
Right away.
Yeah. Hey, so you are 28 years old and you are already an attorney. Tell me about the process that you took in becoming an attorney.
Well, I'm actually going on my sixth year of being an attorney. So yeah, I became an attorney at a very young age. I went to high school. I'm from Rio Grande City, so I went to Rio Grande City High School, finished it in 3 years, finished my bachelor's in two, and then law school in 2.5. So yeah, so I rushed through school, but I loved it. I enjoyed what I did.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, hold on. You've been in law already for 6 years.
Yes, I'm going on my sixth.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay, so you became an attorney at the age of 22?
Yeah, yeah. Well, my birthday's February 15th, so yeah.
Yeah.
So I wasn't 22 for long, but yeah.
Man, that's I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's one of the things that individuals that are going that route, they're saying, well, I got to do my 4 years of college, and then I got to take my LSAT, and then I got to go to law school. It's another 3 years, and then I gotta pass my bar. So like people make it like a very long struggle.
When you do that, you fear and you psych yourself out. So no, so
Yeah,
I just took it one step at a time, and before you knew it, I was taking the bar, and I'm like, okay, well, here goes nothing, and I passed,
yeah.
and yeah, yeah,
Wow, man. Well, major props on that. That's a huge accomplishment.
yeah.
But right now, so it's been already 6 years, and the current climate that we're in right now, wow, man. I mean, what's your take on what occurred last week? I mean, did you watch it live?
I did not, but I was getting texts left and right about it, and I
Yeah,
was embarrassed to say the least.
yeah,
It's shameful occurring on both sides. On both sides, I feel like right now it's uncharted territory. We don't know how to really deal with what's going on. Like I said, my husband just left to Austin today. We don't know
yeah,
how long he's going to be over there. But if you look around in Austin or DC, it doesn't even look like America anymore. It's starting to look a little scary, and the violence is just it's becoming kind of like the foreseeable circumstance or outcome of any enjoining of any political groups or anything. So it's somewhat becoming normalized, and I think that's where one of the biggest issues is.
yeah. And you mentioned there's something where you said, man, it's one of those things where we don't know how to handle it. I was actually having a discussion with a buddy of mine, and we were discussing about how leadership. I mean, man, I've read leadership, I've been in leadership, and that's one of my biggest takeaways always. Like, I mean, at what point do we just make up, at what point do we just drive a decision home? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. No, you have to, I think it was like Bezos that said, you have to make a decision and commit yourself to it. There's going to be a lot of people along the way that are going to try to instill their own thoughts and their own opinions in you, but you have to just go with your instinct and your gut. And I think that's the problem that happens with leaders, is they end up trying to people please and forget who they organically are and what their true beliefs are. Because
Yeah.
yeah,
I,
what's happening right now, I don't think anyone wants. I think we're somewhat discouraging transparency and encouraging theatrical events. Like now we know that what happened on the 6th was somewhat of a planned event by someone on the inside, regardless of what side it was. The fact that that's occurring and our attention is going there, not only our attention, our emotions, everything, our entire energy. I just think we need to, like, that incident, I feel, was like the biggest wake up call that any of us can get. Like, it's time to wake up. It's time to unite. Right now, we are so divided as a country, and we are more powerful together. And right now, what we're doing is throwing rocks at our own teammates, and we're
yeah.
never going to win that way. Instead of complaining or evaluating or foreseeing what could have happened in the past, let's accept what occurred, let's take accountability, let's move forward, let's figure out a solution, but let's stop pretending like the problem doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, we're talking about. I think it comes to individuals not wanting to have those crucial conversations and accept what's actually happening. You mentioned about, like, you know what, you have to take a stance and you have to commit. You know, personally, I would love for our leaders to tell me, the taxpayer, hey, do you agree with this or not? You
Mhm.
know, but as I'm scouring through these profiles, I'm just looking and I'm seeing, let's play it safe. Let's play it safe. Let's not even comment. Let's not even, let's pretend it never existed. I'm sorry, man, but you know what? You're my local leader. You're my state leader. You're my national leader. You need to tell me how you feel. Do you agree with this or not?
Yeah, but the problem with that is also, like, for example, the cancel culture. So like, if you don't agree with what everyone else is saying, you are basically attacked. You become the enemy of the people. Like I said, we are not encouraging transparency anymore, which is what we were encouraging. We wanted our
Yeah.
leaders to be transparent. Now you can't be too authentic because society is too emotional. If you just say one word, even without bad intentions, but if someone takes it the wrong way, I mean, you are now the enemy, and there is no going back from.
But I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. But like that, and that's where leadership takes that helm, and that's where I'm saying that, yo, man, I want you to lead. I want you to lead with the best way you know how, and I will support that.
At the
But
same time, all our leaders are humans, and as humans, we're going to
yeah,
make mistakes. And I feel like when you're a leader, you're just in the public eye. Every little move you
all
make,
yeah,
you're
you're right.
ready to attack. What did you just say about the people? They just want to know right away, what are you doing? Where are you? What's going on in your life? The leaders right now are going through so much. For example, Trump, you know, fair enough. He wasn't a fan favorite, to say the least.
Oh yeah,
Imagine being him. I think that's what we lack as society, empathy. Imagine for 1 second being that man, the hatred he would bear every single day. Like, the fact that he still even will, I mean, that's a whole nother story. But I just feel like leaders get so much hate. The appreciation is there, but as humans, we're going to remember the ugly feelings more, the hate, the criticism. And we are going to try to please everyone, because when we have it with the right will and with the right heart, then we want to help everyone. We want everyone satisfied. We want everyone happy. And unfortunately, you can't have everyone happy. So you need to do what's best for everyone as a whole. You need to outweigh the burden and the benefit. So I think leaders nowadays have backed off on that, just because if you do outweigh the burden and the benefit and the public doesn't agree, you are just now the enemy, you have no support, because every other leader's too, they don't fear speaking out, but it's just better to not get involved.
Well, because they got a bigger team is what it is, right? It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
One of the biggest items that I was told immediately when it comes to being a superintendent is you got to learn the rule of four. What that means is that you got to be able to count to four board members. You got to have on your side four board members in order to pass a decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean that's just it's the truth with anything when it comes to the justice system, the courts, and so forth, right? The Supreme Court, you got to have the majority. And if you're on the good side of the majority, then yeah, you're not going to be afraid to speak. But I agree. There's that point, like when Trump came on board,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there was a need for change. There was that's what it was. There was like, well, who do we put? And then all of a sudden, he came on to
I mean, that was
and won, yeah. And they're like, okay, well, you know what? It's never been done like this before, so let's go ahead and do it like this. And that's what I saw was a support that was going into it. But then, I mean, if you take those 4 years and you just dissect them and you start bringing it to now, I mean, there's a cult culture, in my personal opinion.
There really is. And it's actually very sad. We are encouraging violence when in reality, what we should be encouraging is being able to have respect for one another, so that you're able to express your own views and I'm able to speak with you on them, even if I don't agree with you. And if you really do have a strong belief in your opinion or view, then you're going to have no problem discussing it with someone that doesn't agree with you, because you are so passionate and you're so firm on that foundation. So you're not threatened. Now it's when you're threatened, it's when you're uneasy, it's when you're trying to sway people your way that you fear moving forward.
No doubt. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so with all of this happening at the Capitol, my biggest takeaway from it, I mean, I got friends on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I even got friends on the third side, which is like the independent Green Party stuff and so forth. And what really baffles me is that even after the insurrection occurs, they're still defending the individual, not the party, the individual. And I'm like, why? Why? I don't get that.
And that's accountability. Once again, people are not taking accountability. People are looking for others to point fingers to.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening right now. And it's easier to do that than to just admit you were wrong, regardless of why you were going or who it was. The people that committed that act on January 6th, they were all in the wrong. The fact that they all did that with the intent, imagine being able to go to sleep knowing that you're going to do that the following day. I mean, that's a whole other issue that we really should be concerned with. And that's just the beginning of the year. Imagine. So, so things are crazy. And like I said, instead of continuously just looking at what's occurred and seeing how things could have gone different, we need to, accept it. It happened.
What do they say? Let's just agree to disagree and move forward, right?
No, we fucked up. Let's figure out a way to make it better. Let's figure out a way to come together and move forward in a positive manner. Let's unite. I feel like that's what we need to do instead of pointing fingers, because it's a done.
It already happened. I agree that it already happened, but the problem is that they want to bring up stuff that happened last year. They want to bring up that stuff that happened 2 years ago, and it's like, okay, you know what? We've been messing up together, right? So let's work it out. But I mean, shoot, I read an interesting statistic this morning. 64% of the top wealthiest Congress people are Republican. So I mean, how does that add to what's going on? Well, I mean, I've heard it like this, man. When you mess with people's money, when you fuck with people's money, people are gonna get upset.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. No. Power, money, especially in politics. You don't want to mess with that, and that's what's happening right now. And unfortunately, right now we have, and you know what? I'm a sore loser too. So right now we have a sore loser, but it's okay to say that. But notice what I said. I'm a sore loser too. Taking accountability.
Yeah.
Also, if it's within you, also saying, you know what? Me too. We're all human. Leaders are human as well. And I feel like that's what we're not doing. You know, we'd rather just point fingers. Well, yeah, we did this because you did this. No, 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 no. Two wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah.
It's still wrong what we did, regardless of the other party's actions.
Well, I've lost 2 times in an election, and I don't consider myself a sore loser. I mean, me personally,
No
I'm
one
just
likes to lose. No, like that's what I mean. No one likes
yeah.
to lose.
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't like to lose at all, but
Your dignity, you know, like
I took it, all right? And I was like, you know what? All right, cool. Next time, I'll get them next time. But that's because I mean, I know I have moral compass guiding me. I have that ability, that common sense,
yeah.
right? And now all that division, all that stuff is affecting our money in our stock portfolio with two big companies, Facebook and Twitter, is what they took a huge dump.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's affecting basically everything if you think about it, including our lives. So down to like what we can wear, not wear into a store, you know, like everything right now is political and it's all governed by money at the end of the day. And that is the sad fact.
But let me ask you this question, and I don't know how well versed you are on tech law or corporate law or whatever, but I mean, these individuals are now saying, well, they shut us out and they censored us. You know, they took us off of Twitter, they took us off of Facebook. I mean, my initial thought as I start thinking, I'm like, that's a luxury. That's not a freaking a right or a necessity like Facebook, Twitter. I mean, what's your thought on that whole?
You're absolutely correct. And the Bill of Rights is not afforded to private entities. You know, that's where they found the loopholes. But I mean, it's unprecedented power that they're using, you know, the big tech and their allies. Because private entities technically don't have to comply. But with that being said, in the generation that we live in right now, social media platforms is the way to communicate. You know, that is broadcasting back in the day. So not having the ability to voice your opinion, and in this case, they're legit taking away their entire ability, takes away your voice. You can't communicate with one another. Right now, we communicate with one another via social media. That is what we have now come to. So it's like banning someone from, you know, it's the social media platform is the broadcasting platform. I can't say it better than that.
Yeah, and before you had to buy time, you know, either through radio or through TV, and in order to go ahead and spread your message. And I've personally been on this whole social media thing for a good 4 years, like real religiously, you know, through the campaigns and so forth. But what I'm talking about, and I, you know, working at a high school, one of the biggest things that I quickly found out was, man, they take these pictures and then they post it, and then they, you know, now all of a sudden you've become viral for some other reasons, God knows why, like negatively, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, like, how are you not affecting me? Why can't I not press charges on you? And you're right. You're right on this aspect. You said they did not know how to handle it. When I say they, I'm talking about the police departments, I'm talking about the JPs, I'm talking about the judges, because they all would reference when I would make a complaint or whatever, oh, we can't touch it. It's First Amendment, freedom of speech. Wait a minute. But they're saying this, and that, and they're, you know, chastising me in a slanderous way. No, we can't touch it. So when this happened and they censored and they took away Trump, I'm like, yes, a precedent has been set. Where do we go from here in law? How do you foresee this?
Well, right now they're actually in the movement of attempting to bring in social media and any big tech company owned into the First Amendment by, I believe, like if before we had to only fear the government, which is why the Constitution was written that way. Times have changed. And the government is no longer the one in complete control. The people with the money are the ones in complete control. Big tech, Silicon Valley, they're in control. And I think the Constitution, that freedom was put there for a reason. And we need to continue to embrace and protect the reason it was inputted for. And I believe instead of just it being afforded to the government and not to private entities, we do need to change that, especially with the big companies, because that's the only way we're going to continue to be, I mean, it's an essential right we need to be a working free society.
Yeah.
Without it, our freedom is gone.
Well, and not only that, but I mean, without it, our educational system is in a rut. I mean, we saw it more clearly with COVID, where, you know, we now have to have our kids be virtual learners. Well, one of the first things that we started doing is we started, you know, working with the companies and let's get every kid logged onto the internet. You know, as much as we want to stay away from the internet, it's almost a necessity, but it's not a God-given right. It's right. I mean, or
Well,
am I wrong in saying
technically,
that?
nothing is a God-given right.
Right. Okay.
If you want to get technical, and the Constitution was inputted for a reason, but technically nothing is, I mean, a God-given right, especially in society nowadays, especially the way that we're going now. It's like, you know what they say, it's easier to fool someone than to make someone aware that they've been fooled.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Honestly, is it a God-given right? Is it not a God-given right? Technically, did God put any of those restrictions on us? No.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing in life is real. Everything is based on perception, right? So, you know,
it's hard to answer that, but
it really is. It really is, especially. But you know what? That's how they like to influence. Well, I'm a Christian, and I believe in God, and you know, God bless America. It is what.
That also has to do with programming, which has been proven to have been conducted before. You know.
Have you seen The Social Dilemma?
I have not.
You're
I
missing
have not.
out.
So don't ruin it for me. No, I haven't. But I do believe in that, and I believe right now society is heavily influenced by emotions and by influencers or celebrities, and I think we stopped having the ability to actually think and do research for ourselves. Right now, we kind of just turn on the TV, look at CNN, look at Fox, rather than digging for the actual information for ourselves.
But you know, it's the ones that actually know how much of an influence these hashtags, retweets, and so forth are pretty much the ones that dive into these topics of conversation. I mean, just the other day I was looking at two individuals who work in music and media, and I mean, they want to infiltrate with this whole message of pro-Trump, but they purposely look. I mean, again, I don't have 100% certainty, but it's pretty high up there in regards to my reasoning and believing that they're doing it for the purpose of getting likes, getting retweets, getting, increasing getting their clout.
As I said, we're encouraging theatrical events. We're no longer encouraging transparency. People don't want to speak their actual thoughts. People want to do, or like you're looking even on platforms like TikTok, people are doing ridiculous things because they may go viral. They're posting photos they'll never be able to take back because they may go viral. And right now, that's what it's all about. And
one of the things that I always remember and is that, oh, you can't post his picture, you might lose your job.
And now they're posting everything. Like there's things that I see and I'm like, what? That's why so Twitter, I have like a Twitter account that I never posted anything on, like ever.
I hate Twitter.
And they banned me. And I was like, what's going on? They banned me. And I mean, first of all, that was very offensive because I never even post anything on Twitter, number one. Number two, when that was done, I was like, they're just cutting people off. They're just cutting people off that they don't agree with. They're selectively using the platform to only allow those that agree with them to have a voice, to be able to dictate what occurs, what doesn't occur, what's talked about, what's not talked about.
So are they fabricating their trending topics?
I mean, I would definitely say so. They have complete control.
Man, I mean, and it's a double-edged sword. I mean, because it's scary in one part because of what they can do with that power. And on the other part, it's like, well that's cool.
No, they're already doing it.
Yeah,
Like, look at what happened on January 6th, yes, but look at the protests that were going on earlier in 2020.
Yeah.
Like, churches were getting burned down. Police departments were getting burned down. Like, things have been like this now. We're already going on, what, a year almost?
Yeah.
That this violence has just been on the news. It's shameful. The rest of the world is looking at us like these people are losing their minds. We don't even have to attack them because they're all attacking each other, you know?
Yeah.
And each time, go, be strong. Notice how it's always the leaders telling the people to go, be strong, fight, use your voice. But where are they?
In the back.
Yeah. We are the pawns. And instead of waking up, uniting, we are continuing the game. We're continuing to play their game.
It's almost like these movies, The Purge and Hunger Games and stuff like that, like they were conditioning us for today's events.
Programming.
Yeah.
Programming, that's ridiculous. Like, that is so crazy. And knowing that has happened, like with The Simpsons. I mean, I don't watch that show, but you can just look anywhere online, like The Simpsons and all of their predictions. Like that, I mean, there can only be so many coincidences. Things like that are just weird, bizarre, kind of unexplainable. I just feel like it is very evident that we are being, I mean, we're playing their game. We're the pawns in their game. And we're falling for every single trap. There's some on one side and there's others on the other side.
I'm just waiting for the I'm just waiting for the Ka revolt. Hey.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, oh my God! Like, I'm sorry I brought that up, but just to know that became a movement, I'm like, man, what is the world coming to, really?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
so I didn't know what that was, and I was at the office, and my law partner made a joke about Ka, and everyone started laughing, and I didn't get it, and they were like, yeah, haven't you seen? Like, ¿qué onda Ka? And I was like, what is Ka? Like, I don't get it. So then I was like, that's not like, but I guess
that's not right.
Now I think it's so funny because now I see it all the time. But even something like that, the first time I was like, what? But now it's been normalized because I've seen it so many times. Out of sight.
It's a culture, yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind. But when you see something every single day, you eventually become used to it. So when it's not there, you're like, wait, where is it? You know? Yeah, we're humans. We live by routine.
Oh man, it trips me out, man. I'm like, yo, this is stuff that I recall being in high school and just like doing stupid stuff and just like being a high schooler, right? But for it to come back and be like, "Nombre es que estoy troqueando acá," like, whoa. And then you start seeing it on shirts, and then you start seeing that events.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It really makes you miss the old days, for sure.
I mean, in Rio Grande, like.
No, in Stark County, that's another story.
No, Stark County, I mean, this is what I remember, because, I mean, I'm 37, and I remember going to Rio Grande, Roma, Zapata.
To cruise?
To cruise on a Sunday night.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was people of all ages. Fun fact. So I would cruise and my mom would be cruising too. Like I would see my mom in another vehicle when we would be like in Roma and stuff. But yes, like it was people of all ages. And that's what you would do for fun. You would
Yeah.
go cruising. And now that you think about it, you're like, how can you guys have fun? Like going around a park, like in Rio Grande City, it was around the park.
No, but
And then
for us, it was at the park, and then it went to Peter Piper in Rio Grande. I mean, because I had some girlfriends in Rio Grande,
yeah,
and we would always like, hey, come over to Rio, like let's go to
yeah.
the park, right? So then, like we
That was
would either,
cool.
yeah, we would go, us guys, we would
Uh-huh.
go because we wanted to check out the girls, you know, like ¿Qué onda? Hey. But then, okay, hey, give me your number, right?
Yeah.
And then, okay, next Sunday we don't come to the park, we go to Tejano Saloon, right?
Which one was that? Or
What's
was
that?
what was that? The first-
That was in Far on Nolana.
oh, that's because yeah.
Yeah. So there was just a whole, I mean, it was a culture, but
Yeah. No.
I think we probably started that movement of the trucks.
Or where you guys would put the lights and then like drop down the back and like sit there. Were you one of those?
That was my brother. That wasn't me.
Okay.
I would,
Or they would write like little things in back of their trucks and like create like truck gangs or I think that
yeah.
exists. I think that's like still a thing. Like troqueando or so like troqueando group or something.
That was that. That was that cruising was that. Exactly. So then they would go to Roma,
Yeah.
you know, and they would go and then they'd come back to Rio. And what else do I remember?
That was fun though. And then there was like good music, so you would be able to listen to the music. That was fun. That was
Puro duelo. Puro duelo
Yeah,
and puro
yeah.
sólido and
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. No, those were the good times. Those were the good times.
But why was it good?
You see, back then, think about it. You weren't worried about the world. You were worried about the girl not calling you back or not texting you back.
Yeah.
Or you went cruising and that your crush isn't there. Where is she? Is she on a date? That's what you were worried about. You weren't worried about, is something going to burn today? Am I going to make it today? What's going to happen today? I feel like now we just wake up with fear and anxiety because every single day there's something historic that's occurring and not in a good way.
Well, and I got kids. I got two daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old, and I was watching some statistics about the types of content that they're seeing by the age of 12. Like it's increased from like 31% to 51%. Like 51% of 12-year-old are watching some type of mature content. I'm like, whoa.
Have you seen what they're watching?
Yeah, like
I'm like, what? Like that WAP dance thing that was coming out. I was like, how is this allowed? Like my mom would have killed me. What is going on?
Is that like the equivalent of back that ass up on Juvenile or something?
Even then they were covered up, with that or Pony. They were covered up. Now it's like they're wearing nothing.
Yeah.
Like and it's super normal. And like I mean, that's a whole nother.
But you know what? And you bring up a good topic because look, back in the days of cable, right? It was like, okay, you can't target this select group of audience from this time to this time. You know what? You wanna run this commercial or you want to run this video? Okay, it's gonna air like at 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Right? Mm-hmm. That was a governance that the FCC had or the TV stations had. But now they've surpassed all that, and now it's on YouTube. So at the click or at the search time, like they're there and they're searching, and boom, here it is. Now here comes a like video similar to this one. Boom, I'm like, whoa, algorithms, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
No. Yeah, and that corroborates that these big tech companies are controlling everything. I mean, how many times have you spoken to your wife or one of your daughters about something, and then all of a sudden you guys are scrolling on Facebook and there's an ad for whatever it was that you were talking about?
Right.
Like that is, I mean, come on. Come on.
Well, I think it's because I have like 5 different Alexas in the house too.
And then I have Alexa too. No, and for example, I don't want her to turn on right now because she's like right there, but like I won't even be talking and she'll just like turn on. It's like
Weird, right?
this thing. Yeah, it's like the weirdest thing. I mean, it's like Big Brother. It's
Yeah.
like 1984. Like I feel, you know, people ask me like, why don't you have cameras like in your office? And I was like, I don't need more cameras. There's already cameras everywhere. We're getting watched every single moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's crazy.
No, man.
Privacy has become a rarity, that's for sure.
Shoot, everything you browse, everything you click on, everything you talk to. I mean, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
really is.
Yeah.
Man, shoot. Hey, so what bar I'm heading up to Austin. What barbecue place do you recommend other than Franklin's?
So I don't know. I really don't like
You're not a barbecue girl?
no. No.
Oh,
No,
what?
well, I love like homemade barbecue, like my grandpa's barbecue or like homemade barbecue. You know, like I won't go to like a restaurant for barbecue. No.
Oh
I'm
man.
more like of a Mexican um restaurant type of girl.
See, which one's your favorite?
Well, I don't go very often to Austin.
Okay.
Yeah, I went
But
to
just
law
in
school in
general?
San Antonio, so there
What was that?
I went to law school in San Antonio, so I spent a lot of time there.
Okay.
So there, which one's the good one? The one downtown that it's always packed.
Oh.
You know which, um, and it's
Mi
across.
Tierra?
Yes. Oh, that it's a good one. That one's good.
Uh, I think it's me personally. I think it's overrated, overpriced. Uh, it's good.
It's good.
It's not the best that San Antonio has to offer.
No, I like Hofbrau. Their
Okay,
drinks are amazing. Did you ever go there?
that's over there
There's two locations, but yeah,
by
there's
the
quite a
quarry, right?
few. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
like that place.
yeah, that place was good. There they have barbecue, I think, kind of like barbecue-ish food.
Yeah, barbecue. It's just not like
Yeah.
no. But I was talking to my wife and she was like, yeah, you should go. Let's go to Franklin's. And I'm like, okay, like I'm one of those guys that like if people are out there, oh, you have to wait in line. Okay, dude, you know what? This is an Instagram thing. This is like, let me take a picture, let me hashtag it. I'm at Franklin's, and so because that's the spot doesn't mean it's great.
Yeah.
So when I tried it, I was like, this is it. Maybe because I already had that perception in my mind that it ain't all that great. I mean, I don't know.
Or maybe they hyped it up too much. The
Yeah,
expectations were very high. Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It happens a lot to me.
Yeah. Like I love Chris Madrid's from San Antonio. And everyone I take, they're like, it's okay. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's amazing. I have dreams about that. Like their
Yeah,
nachos are so good. But yeah, no. So I mean, I think I hype it up for people. So then people go because they're like, well, you have dreams about their nachos. So their nachos must be amazing. And
yeah.
then,
That's the place that has a nacho burger, right?
yeah, yeah. So they're not like 100 out of 10, but they're pretty damn good. I like them. I think they're super
Y-
good.
You and my cousin would love to go there all the time. My cousin swears by it. Shout out to Bernie.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he loves it. He swears by it. And I got there and I was like,
I
bro.
think no, it's a whole. It used to be like a hole in the wall. You
Yeah,
didn't even know it was a restaurant. It's so good. My uncle is the one that introduced it to like our family because he was
yeah.
going to school in San Antonio. So we thought we had found this hidden gem until I went to law school and realized it was always packed. But yeah, Magnolia Pancake House is also very good in San
I've
Antonio.
never tried that one. I'm gonna
That,
try that one out.
but the line is very long.
Uh,
But for
man.
no, but for right reasons, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna take you up on that one. I'll definitely
Yeah.
check it out sometime. Um, so man, we've talked about on several topics, but man, I still can't get over this past week. I mean, I know today what happened was that House passed impeachment process and now it's up to the Senate. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. And now
So
it's up to the Senate. And then from there, people, well, then they're going to have their trial. And then if they want to, after trial, depending on the decision thereafter, if they don't want Trump to ever hold office again, then Senate would make another decision on that matter. So
Yeah,
this is
yeah, that's that.
interesting.
I mean, this is something that's not gonna like happen right now. This is something that's gonna
Yeah,
take a couple of
for sure.
weeks.
For sure. Yeah.
Man, it's crazy, man. Crazy times, crazy times.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
Yes.
Hey, Crystal. So what's your? Let me ask you something on the type of practice that you are. You're with AKs. What do you guys handle for the most
So
part?
I'm the family law attorney. So I handle a lot of family law, criminal defense, and any business. We represent businesses and do business litigation. Also, Deceptive Trade Practice Act. My partner is, he handles, his main focus is criminal and personal injury. So we just do a little bit of everything. Um, but yeah, we definitely, my main focus is family law. I did not choose family law. Family law chose me. But yeah, we love what we do. And when you love what you do, you can see amazing results for your clients. So we love
Family law chose you,
it.
huh?
Yeah, for sure.
How is that? Like that's a very interesting way of putting
I
it.
never, so I grew up with divorced parents. So I never wanted to be a family law attorney, like barf. That reminded me like of a time in my life that I don't want to remember. But
Yeah.
no, well, I started seeing that parents would come to me like disheveled, basically no hope. They had already been through so many attorneys. But most importantly, their child would come behind them and so innocent. And I would see the reasons. Like, for example, I've had, clients where they're endangering the emotional needs or even the physical being of the child for the sake of getting the other partner upset, and I try to, so I realized that it was an opportunity for me to be able to speak to the parents because I don't have any children. So it's hard for me to speak to a parent on how to parent, but
Hmm.
I did grow up with divorced parents, and you never want for a child to grow up thinking their parent didn't want to be with her, their mom or dad didn't want them, or didn't want to see them, because that could affect, like for daughters, if their father's not around, that could encourage behavior when they're teenagers where they want that attention because they lacked it growing up since their father was not around. So I try to prevent that, or at least educate my clients on the potential consequences from their actions right now. And I do try to remind them that emotions are temporary.
Yeah.
All of them, whether you're angry, whether you're upset, even something you think you'll never be able to forgive someone for, you're eventually going to forgive them, not for them, but for yourself. So, self-love is just something that I highly encourage. You can't pour out of an empty cup. And I think that that's what we need for a better future. We need more compassion. We need to teach empathy, because people no longer, I mean, there's some people that don't even know how to exercise empathy. They know how to exercise sympathy, which is very different.
Yeah.
And I think we just need to teach people how to be a light in the world, not just always suck energy out of people for the sake of their own gain. Sometimes helping other people actually brings you so much fulfillment that you end up benefiting more in a way.
This is my therapy here. These podcasts.
But yeah, no,
Oh man.
yeah, I could see that because you get to release all like your thoughts. You don't keep them inside. You're able to speak about them. You're able to speak to someone also that's not going to argue with you or distance themselves or attack you, but rather,
Yeah.
you know, listen
But
and let you know what they
I
think.
mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's the whole goal. I mean, I think it's made me a better listener, that's for sure, in my personal life. It's made me a better communicator. But when I started this whole thing, I mean, it was more done to the intention of leaving a legacy as far as that I'm concerned. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
oftentimes, like, we're so scared of posting something on social media. Oh my God, like it might get one like, it might get two likes, and it's gonna hurt me, etc. Nah, man. You know what? At the end of the day, my children have video footage of me talking on some very thematic topics
Mhm. Yeah,
that they can always pull from. You know what I'm saying? Like this is their archive.
yeah,
So I mean, I highly encourage your parents, my parents, my community members, like do something worthwhile for
Yeah.
sure.
You only have one life, and I feel like we all have a calling, and fear should never be the reason why you don't proceed. I almost didn't become a lawyer because of fear, because I was so scared. Imagine I would have been so unfulfilled, because this job just brings me so much joy. So, yeah, I think that we all know deep down inside what we want to do and what our calling is. And I feel like sometimes we feel like we aren't good enough or just lack confidence. And, you just need to believe in yourself, because the road to success comes with a lot of failures, a lot of falls, but you fall
Yeah.
down 8, you get up 9. No
Hey,
matter
let
how
me.
many times you fall, you just keep getting back up. And before you know it, you will end up where you always determined to be.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a different take on success.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I let me ask you this other question, and it's more along the lines of, so as you are wanting to become an attorney, who's the attorney that you're looking at guiding you? Who's your superstar attorney?
Right now,
Well,
or when I was
l-
becoming an
when you were becoming an attorney, and then right now, let's do that.
Okay, so when I was becoming an attorney, I was blessed to have all these very influential attorneys just like pop into my life. Um, for example, my grandma's brother was the district attorney in the 90s, but I didn't get an opportunity to really talk to him about law until after I had become an attorney and right before he had passed away. But no, so I was very like ignorant and all that stuff. Like I would watch Disney Channel and Nickelodeon. I got sworn in by Justice Clarence Thomas, and I didn't even know who he was. My grandma was like, "You have to go," and I was like, "Why? Like, why is it so expensive? Like, why is it such a big deal?" Like I was so young
So
that
you had no idea who Justice Clarence
oh, I had
Thomas was.
no idea. No, and when I
Whoa!
it was like
But you got it. But you got sworn in by Clarence Thomas.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I even met Justice Scalia. Yeah. I met Justice Ginsburg. Yeah, no. And Justice Clarence Thomas actually wanted, yeah, like it was a great experience. But yeah, now I know who he is. Like now I'm like, whoa. But back then I didn't. I mean, back then I would just kind of live life and I was always living in the present, always.
Yeah.
Um, so I was always so happy. So things were always going my way. And then when I started getting a little older, I started worrying. And then that's when I started seeing that like when I worry, things end up turning out the way I didn't want them to. And so that's why now I'm like positive mindset, because that really is a thing for sure.
Man, wow, that's a story for sure, man. Like you
Yeah.
could definitely, like I man, to I mean, because okay, so a little fact about me is,
Mm-hmm.
one of my best friends is an attorney, and him and I, we met, and we would discuss like, okay, let's do this, like later on, we can definitely open up our own practice and so forth. But life happened for me, right? So I took on the path of becoming an educator, becoming a principal, and so forth, and now by the end of this year, I should be finished with my doctorate in healthcare administration.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just that person that loves to learn, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I've told him, I said, man, hey, don't count me out, because I might still want to go back to law school. Like, don't
Yeah,
count me out.
yeah, no, never give up. One of my friends just entered law school
Yeah.
this past year, and yeah, he's older, and actually his reason for going into law school is to become a family law attorney, because he had to deal with custody and yeah, so he
Oh yeah.
really is a lawyer.
Trust
So
trust me. I mean, I've gone through that myself, and the last time I was there, what I started noticing is that I'm sorry, the justice, the judge, was leaving all the decision making to the attorneys. The judge didn't want to make a decision, like, because the judge had two good parents,
mhm.
right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, yo, why don't you make a decision?
Well,
And
because best interest of the child hasn't been defined. How do you know what the best interest of the child is? The parents would be the best ones to know. Who knows the parents best? The attorneys. Haha.
who's the winner out of all these? The attorneys.
Well, but who has to endure all the drama and, get their energy?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
give and take for sure.
It is. It is. I have a love-hate relationship with attorneys. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, but anyways, yeah, that's wow, interesting. So you got sworn in by Justice Clarence Thomas, and then okay, so now who do you look up to? Okay, you didn't tell me who you were looking up to back then.
So yeah, because I mean, like, you want me to tell you the truth?
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln was a lawyer, and he was an Aquarius, and his birthday was around my birthday, and I was like, that's
what I want to be.
Yeah, but no, like the reason I even wanted to become a lawyer was because my aunt, who I looked up to when I was 11 years old, wanted to be a lawyer. And she visited me when we were in California, and she was like, yeah, I think I want to be a lawyer. So after that, I was like, I'm going to be a lawyer. And they were like, why? Because I'm going to be a lawyer. Like, I just always had it in my mind that I was going to be a lawyer. I didn't know why, but I had my mind set on that. And
did she become a lawyer?
No, but she's happy doing what she's happy in her place. So yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so let's just say Abraham Lincoln back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
We're good. Now, who is the family attorney that you look up to?
Well, no, the same way back then, I kind of didn't really look up to anyone. I just kind of had like an influential person that I looked up to in general, not as their position as an attorney, but just in general. It's kind of the same now. So now my own competition is myself. So I just want to become better every day. But there's no one I really look up to or want to be like. There's a lot of female attorneys and male attorneys that I highly admire. And there's some that I like. For example, there's some that I love how they handle cases in the pre-litigation stage. There's others where they're very disorganized, but in litigation, in court, like as litigation attorneys, they're complete badasses. There's others that, they're better at negotiators. So, I mean, everyone has kind of like their little specialties. So there's a lot of different attorneys I admire for different reasons.
Communication, understanding, empathy. These are highly topics of conversation in your world, in my world, in everybody's world. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we're talking about right now, that we need to find some better middle ground, some better understanding, so that we can all understand each other a little bit better.
Yeah. I think we need to normalize being in a room with people that have different opinions. And instead of seeing them as an enemy, seeing them as a sibling. And you guys need to get along before dinner. So you need to talk it out, work it out, because we're in this together. By drilling holes on the boat we're on, that's not helping anyone. Yeah, you're hurting your enemy, but you're also hurting yourself. So, the only way that we can really, truly all help one another is through unity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And understanding.
Accountability. For sure.
Man, Krystal, it's been a wonderful time getting to talk with you today. I know we had some people pop in, pop out, and so forth, and feel free to share the link. It's been a great time talking with you. Again, how can your people find you? What's your number?
So I can be reached at 956-483-4245.
All right, one more time for everybody, for those in the back.
956-483-4245.
Krystal Garza, thank you so much for joining us today. You are a part of the AK Law Firm based out of
McAllen, Texas.
All right. So once again, thank you for joining us. We'll see you at the next episode. Everybody have a great day. God bless you. Have a good one.
Thank you. Have a good one.